Hello everybody. With little fanfare, Toyota has just announced the new 70 series Landcruiser and a new model Prado. I'm Andrew St Pierre White, explorer, overlander and broadcaster with over 40 years driving 4x4s. Welcome to 4X Overland. I'm a prisoner of this hill. I'm getting my information like you do. This particular article is drive.com.au and they have received what are obviously press pictures from Toyota. And so I'm going to go through what I'm reading and comment on it. The first facelift for the Toyota Landcruiser 70 series in 15 years have been revealed, with options of 2.8 litre 4-cylinder diesel power ahead of Australian showroom arrivals due later this year. All right, let me just talk about what I think how I think it looks. I think it's going to take me a little bit of getting used to. The trouble is with the 70 series looks, and it's particularly obvious with the 70 series, is that the back end is narrow and the front end is bulbous, and that's been like that since 2007 when they redesigned the front end to make the front axle wider to accommodate the wider V8 engine. And what they've done with this is, in fact, it actually even exaggerates that big bulbous front and skinny narrow back. But I do like it. I think it's got one of those. It's obviously retro. If you look here, they've taken the side lights from the pre-2007 model Landcruiser. So they've gone retro. I like that. I also think the look of it, the change of the grille is a big improvement. The front bumper is very similar. Most people change that, put a nice bar on it, and I think that the bar manufacturers are going to have a field day in designing new bars that will look fantastic. That high bonnet is a little bit odd, but I think the reason why they've done that is because, well, the new one is going to be available with both the V8 engine and the 2.8 turbo diesel, the 4-cylinder. How will it perform with a 4-cylinder engine? Well, I think okay. Will it be as good as the V8 in most scenarios? No, I cannot believe it. But the big story, and to me this is the biggest and best news, they're making a 70 series with an automatic gearbox. Yes, thank you. Yeah, okay. The V8 is going to be still available in this model. So are they going to use this bonnet with the V8 or the old bonnet, front end shape? I'm assuming that they're going to change all of them and make them all look like this, whether it's got the V8 or the 2.8 4-cylinder. So how is then the V8 intercooler going to work? So my question is, will the V8 and the 2.8 diesel share the same intercooler? And where is it? Is it going to be as big and effective as the one fitted to the current V8? And thank you, Toyota, so much. You haven't put stupid bits of plastic all over the engine so it's difficult to see and difficult to work on. All right, look at the interior. So, a few things to notice about the interior. There is the automatic gear knob. The center console is a vast improvement. It was so bad. The center console, however, looks pretty much like the old one. Very small and close to useless and not high enough for a side arm rest. The seats look the same, which is sad. But these are details. But if I look at the interior and the dashboard, they have rebuilt the switch panel. Good. Looks like they have removed the cigarette lighter and ashtray. Good. That could be actually quite useful space. Obviously the auto gearbox selector. And they've kept the old-fashioned ventilation system. That could be seen as a bit of a criticism. I guess it is in a way. It's very, very old-fashioned. It's very functional. It does work quite well. The ventilation in the 70 is quite good, and so they haven't changed that. But what they have done is significant. That steering wheel, although not the prettiest steering wheel in the world, has remote controls on the steering wheel. And you can see two levels here. That steering wheel has got controls on the left that I am assuming is the GXL model, and this one here, no standard audio system and controls only on the right. I'm assuming that is probably Workmate, but if that is Workmate, here are some door switches, so perhaps with the Workmate they have upgraded all of the versions to electric windows. So let's now talk about the styling at the back and some clues. They've done something very interesting with the rear lights. I don't know what that means. It's interesting. This is all the same. The back bumper is very similar but not the same. The wings out here are different. The centerpiece looks the same. And of course this front end side wings look very similar. Black wheel arches, which are actually, I think, far nicer looking than the color-coded ones, and that very, very retro front end. Worth noting with all of this, though, is the reason why 70 series Landcruiser lovers like this car is because it's built for mines, NGOs, industry. It's heavy duty. It's the nature of its chassis and everything about it means that we can accessorize it and perfect it for our use. And because we can do that, they make a very, very good Overlanders and very good off-road vehicles too. But these upgrades that Toyota are announcing, I don't think they're just for the mines. I don't think they are. I think they know that a lot of enthusiasts, 4x4 enthusiasts, love this car. Because why have they done all of those quite nice things to the aesthetics? If it was just for mines and NGOs, they wouldn't worry about the aesthetics. So I think that Toyota are actually looking at us, the enthusiast, as an important part of their market, which I don't think they've done much of in the past. And that spells very, very good news for all of us that like the Toyota 70 series. The 2.8 litre diesel in this vehicle will be a bit better on fuel, not a lot, but a bit. Probably not heavier on fuel when the Landcruiser is fully laden. I'm guessing very little difference in economy, but it certainly won't be worse. In terms of pure acceleration, the beauty of the V8 is that with a little bit of tweaking, there is of course the threat of losing a warranty if you use certain products on the engine to increase its power electronically. But the V8 is so underpowered in the way it's delivered by Toyota Australia that it is so easy to get so much better, much better performance out of it with very little effort. That's not going to be the same with the 2.8. Not as much. It is obviously, you're going to be able to get some more power out of it, sure, but not as easily because it's starting, but it's a much smaller engine, 2.8 as 4 as opposed to 4.5, 8. I look at it and think to myself, the fact that it has an automatic gearbox option is fantastic. The best thing of this news by far. I have to even more exciting than that. Buyers will be able to option the 4-cylinder with automatic transmission across the range. That doesn't include the V8. It's across the range of all of the vehicles with the 2.8. Okay, that's all 3 single chassis variants Workmate GX and GXL, as we're familiar with, and the Workmate and GXL grades in the dual cab chassis, 5-door wagon, and the troop carrier, an automatic troop carrier. That is the best news by far. The troop carrier is not being discontinued, as I was worried that it might be, and that is fantastic news. And now it's got an automatic gearbox. Here, though, is the big question. That axle, there, they haven't widened the back axle. I don't believe they have. There, it hasn't. That could be... I'm looking at these pictures. I'm looking at where the vehicle is standing. And I'm saying to you, they have not changed the chassis at all. The chassis is absolutely identical, which means they have not made the rear axle width correction, as we all hoped they would. Right. Other very interesting news from Toyota is the new Prado. And I look at its design and I see some American influence with the 4Runner. I see even influence with the Land Rover Defender. It has a retro look, and I have to say that the first Prado that I am familiar with had a very feminine look. A good car. It was the 120 Prado. It was a good car. I liked it a lot and drove one quite a bit on a number of trips, and I was quite impressed with it. I was impressed with its versatility. After all, it's a suburban SUV with very good off-road ability and fairly good as an Overlander too. So it did a lot of things really quite well. Then they brought out the 150 that I didn't really like much at all. I mean, it was as practical as the 120, but it was ugly. And I thought the interior was so dreary, so awful, that I couldn't actually bring myself to like it. Not only have they done, I think, a fabulous job with taking what is quite a dull vehicle to look at, good vehicle, as I said, and turned it into something which has a distinctive look. That's a good-looking car. I mean, that's a little bit Jeep Grand-esque, isn't it? That back look. It's a single-piece tailgate, not double. That's a bit Defenderish down there. But the look is so much better. So much better. It's a bit longer than the previous Prado, and if I look at it, I'm more, for the first time again, excited about what the Prado is. For the first time, the designers have actually built a nice looking car. And you look at the interior, that's a good looking interior. And Toyota are not great at interiors, then I don't think. I think so many other manufacturers do better interiors than Toyota do. But I look at that and I like it. It's auto box, more switches here, probably to control the traction system. And I think that's really quite exciting. And a rear that you can fold almost flat. But this Prado will not be available in the twin-turbo V6. It will be available with the same engine as they're putting in the 70 series, the 2.8 four-cylinder. That engine seems to be a staple for Toyota. That same engine is put into Hilux and into Hiace and so many Toyota vehicles. I hope you enjoyed that. There is so much new stuff on the internet about the new Landcruisers. The more I know, when I find out, I will share it with you. Thanks for watching.